Well, the NFL Combine is going on right now, and with it, some ACC stars are out there competing against the best in the nation. But how did the players perform in the first day of testing on Thursday, and which individual stood out above the rest? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ACC Uprising. My name is Grant Mitchell, and as I said in the intro, yesterday was day one of the athletic testing portion of the NFL Combine. We got to see the interior defensive linemen, the edge rushers, and the linebackers take the field. The day was dominated by Ohio State's Sonny Styles, who looks like he might be the most athletic football player that any of us have ever seen, but there were still some ACC guys out there mixing it up, and like I said, one particular individual, and I'll tease this, it was a linebacker, stood tall above the rest. So, in this video, we're going to jump into that and talk about what happened out there on the field yesterday and what we should be expecting from the ACC guys at the Combine moving forward. So if you guys are joining me here, make sure you do hit the like button. That's the #1 way you can support the channel. Subscribe so you never miss out on the daily uploads. Here at ACC Uprising, we are committed to covering every single team across the conference. So even if your team isn't mentioned in this video today, even though we're focusing on multiple schools, we're focusing on every school that's got someone at the Combine. Even if we don't talk about your team directly today, we'll probably get to them tomorrow. So make sure you drop a subscription. And as always, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. So it's always fun when the Combine is going on. The Underwear Olympics, as it is affectionately known, out there in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. Got to see some players from the ACC representing out there. A couple of guys who were in action, more than a couple. Pitt linebacker Kyle Louis, Clemson edge rusher TJ Parker. Peter Woods was there, did not compete. That was sad. That was supposed to be his day as a defensive tackle, but he didn't end up working out. Edge Quintayvious Hutchins from Boston College, edge Vincent Anthony Jr. from Duke, and defensive lineman DeMonte Capehart from Clemson. So I guess we can, we'll go maybe top to bottom on the guys that impressed the least to the guys who impressed the most. We'll go with, who should we start this off with? Because I didn't really order the bottom of the list. I just named the standout guy. We'll start with TJ Parker, probably because he's a first-round draft pick, so he's going to be held to a pretty high standard. Didn't really do anything to separate himself. 4.68 in the 40, 161 for his 10-yard split, 34-inch vertical leap, 10-foot broad jump. Some all right numbers here and there. Nothing terribly disappointing, but again, nothing that distinguished himself from the rest of the field. Quintayvious Hutchins of Boston College, 4.74 in the 40, 173 in the 10-yard split. A 37-inch vertical was pretty good, and then he didn't do the broad jump. Vincent Anthony Jr. of Duke, 4.84 in the 40. That was the slowest of all non-defensive tackles that we're going to get to in this video today. 167 in the 10-yard split, only a 32.5-inch vertical leap and a 10-foot 3-inch broad jump, so definitely lacking in the explosiveness category. DeMonte Capehart did well for a defensive tackle, 4.85 in the 40, 171 in his 10-yard split. His 33.5-inch vertical leap was third among all defensive tackles, but then his 8-foot 11-inch broad jump was the third worst among defensive tackles. He only beat Lee Hunter, and I think maybe Tim Keenan might have been the last guy. And you know what? They're all big dudes, so it is what it is. But I mean, Lee Hunter and Tim Keenan especially, those guys are massive. You see them. I'm surprised they even did the broad jump. Like, at that point, they're just really out there doing it for fun and seeing what they can get, because they're not boosting their draft stock with anything that they're going to do out there in that event. But the man who stood tall above the rest is Pitt linebacker Kyle Louis, who I want to kind of focus in on as we get to the meat and potatoes of this video. 4.53 in the 40. That's definitely going to work. That's NFL speed at the linebacker spot. A 158 split through the 10 yards, which was tied for the second fastest at the entire Combine. So this is a big deal for me. This is a big deal because we talk about get off with edge rushers, but linebacker, you got to read and react. You're in the middle of the field. You got to figure out where the play is going. And he's very clearly got the speed to do that, because that's a really impressive time. If I'm not mistaken, and let me double check this. Let me double check, just because I don't want to spread misinformation in this video here, or in any of my videos, as a matter of fact. So Sonny Styles, who I mentioned, just destroyed the Combine. He's the only linebacker ever in the history of the Combine to weigh 240 plus, vertical leap more than 40 inches, and he got 43.5. Broad jump more than 11 feet and run sub 4.5. So that physical freak tied for the best time at 156. And then, like I mentioned, Kyle Louis was in a group at 158. That included Anthony Hill Jr., really athletic, potential first-round pick from Texas. That included Cassius Howell, first-round pick edge rusher from A&M. And that included Arvell Reese, top 5 draft pick from Ohio State. So Kyle Louis was performing right with those guys. He also got 39.5 inches in the vertical leap. That was 4th among linebackers. 10.9 in the broad jump, 2nd among linebackers, only behind Sonny Styles. A 6.97 3-cone drill, 3rd among all positions, and a 4.26 shuttle, 3rd among all positions. So good numbers for him. And then just in a vacuum, I appreciate him competing. I was talking about this with one of my boys earlier. The combine has just become so segmented, and it's very much like I'm only going to do this if it helps me, which does raise the question, okay, if this guy's doing 2 drills and sitting out of, or 2 tests and sitting out of 4, what is he hiding? Why isn't he doing it? You're kind of telling us that you have a weakness there. So me and my boy were basically discussing this and saying the potential solution would be you just check a box. Excuse me. You check a box. Are you doing the drills and the workouts, or are you not? Are you only there for interviews? And if you check, yes, I'm doing it, then you got to do all of them. But Kyle Louis, more so than literally every ACC player who was there yesterday, he showed up and he competed. So I wanted to give him his flowers for that. Louis is, of course, a 6'1" junior linebacker, a little bit on the smaller side. What did he measure at the combine? That's a good question. What did they have him listed as? 6 foot, 220 pounds. So on the smaller side for sure. But a solid year for Pitt last year. 79 tackles, had 100 the season before that. 10 sacks over his last 2 seasons. 3 pass deflections each of the last 2 seasons. 6 interceptions each of the last 2 seasons as well. So pretty impressive numbers, and he went to the combine and he did his thing. So potentially someone to watch. Where is he currently? Kyle Louis draft projection. Where is he currently expected to go? Do we have information on that? We do not have a draft projection. From what I'm seeing, okay, I take that back. From what I'm seeing, he is going to be like maybe a 4th round pick. That's what they're putting him at. And there's going to be talks about him moving back to safety as well, even though he worked out with the linebackers. And that could be the best thing for him. If he is only 6 foot, 220 pounds, maybe he slims down just a small bit and he works back to safety and he's able to play a box linebacker role like you saw Nicky Manwari for the Seahawks when they won the Super Bowl this year. And in any case, I'm going off of a bit of a tangent, but those are the updates from day 1 of the NFL Combine, day 1 of the athletic testing. Later today, we are going to get some more fun people out there on the field. I believe that do we have receivers today? No, excuse me. We have tight ends and defensive backs. So today, Friday, is tight ends and defensive backs going through their athletic testing at the combine. So some big name guys and people we will, of course, report on in the near future. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe so you never miss out on the upcoming videos. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you all. Whatever thoughts you got, throw them down in the comment section below. Appreciate you all rocking out an ACC Uprising. I'll catch you in the next one.